Throughout much of Joe Biden's presidency, inflation has been the main economic issue. As a result, many Americans have overlooked other aspects of Biden's economic agenda: a strong labor market with significant job gains and low unemployment, improved economic conditions for lower-income workers, and large investments in green energy, infrastructure, and domestic manufacturing. However, continued inflation and rising prices weakened Biden's poll numbers. Combined with concerns over his age, this led him to withdraw from the 2024 presidential campaign. Former President Donald Trump has his own economic record, which is characterized by a major tax cut, deregulation, and trade conflicts, especially with China. Many economists believe that an increase in foreign-born workers has helped stabilize the labor market over the past year. Vice President Kamala Harris, now the presumptive Democratic nominee, is linked to Biden's economic policies, though she has proposed some of her own ideas. Harris emphasizes family-friendly policies, such as paid leave and child care support.
So today we are announcing the single largest investment in child care in our nation's history. The single largest investment in child care in our nation's history. This investment is part of the American Rescue Plan, which the President signed into law just over 1 month ago. And before I talk about this investment, the President has asked me to update you on the implementation of the plan. As you know, it was very important to the President and me that the relief we delivered would be felt immediately and tangibly by the American people.
Her allies say she aims to address issues that impact working families rather than engaging in technical policy debates. Nonetheless, any legislative efforts could face resistance if Republicans retain the House or gain control of the Senate in November. Trump supports tax cuts for the wealthy and has promised to lower the corporate tax rate to 15%, down from the 21% it was reduced to during his first term. Previously, the corporate tax rate was 35%, but it was reduced to 21% under Trump. He has pledged to reduce it further to 15% if re-elected. Harris has expressed a desire to raise the corporate tax rate back to 35%. Reducing taxes for businesses and wealthy individuals has long been a central tenet of Republican economic policy. Harris has committed to Biden's promise of no tax hikes for those earning under $400,000, but would need funding sources for expanded social programs. Trump used tariffs as leverage in trade negotiations, especially with China. He is now proposing a broad 10% tariff on imports, with some rates as high as 60%. Harris has made few comments on tariffs, though the Biden administration has maintained some tariffs from the Trump era. Trump promoted deregulation, which he argued would strengthen American industry. Some Biden-era regulatory reversals have faced legal challenges, causing delays in policy changes. Trump has promised to reverse Biden's green energy subsidies and mandates. The GOP has criticized businesses and Democrats for supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) policies, even referring to Harris as a DEI hire. Many companies have recently scaled back their DEI commitments and even incorporated the shift into their branding. Ironically, while Trump and the GOP have criticized Biden for limiting American energy production, domestic oil output has reached record levels during Biden's presidency. During his first term, Trump frequently criticized Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates quickly enough. Trump has promised to reduce inflation and lower interest rates, though he has not specified how he would achieve this. He has recently said he is comfortable with Powell completing his term.
Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Common sense.
Biden has refrained from commenting on the Federal Reserve's decisions. With interest rates set to fall later this year, his administration has credited itself for the recent decline in inflation over the past 12 months.
Because lower borrowing costs will support economic growth. And it's an important signal from the Federal Reserve to the nation that after repeated interest hikes to cool down inflation, inflation has come back down, and the Fed has switched to lowering rates to keep the country growing.
Despite this decline, high inflation under Biden's tenure may serve as a criticism in Harris's presidential campaign. Alliance Trade predicted in July that a Trump win might lead to increased Treasury issuance to fund higher deficits caused by tax cuts. The firm warned that markets might overlook the potential impact on inflation and monetary policy if Trump follows through on his more disruptive policy promises. In the most extreme scenario, inflation could rise to 4% by 2025, with growth dropping to around 0% in 2025.